everybody. We are talking today about 5.12, which is more scale drawings and models, or scale drawings and models number 2. What are we going to talk about today? Students will be able to use a scale to calculate actual or model amounts. Students will understand what scale factor is. So this is a little bit more of the last lesson. A floor plan has a scale of 1 inch equals 8 feet. Okay, so that's our scale. On the floor plan, the living room has dimensions of 2.5 inches by 1.75 inches. Now, those are lengths. So 2.5 inches is one length, 1.75 inches we could call the width. So let's say that one's width, and let's say that one's length. Find the actual length of the living room. So we would start with the scale, 1 inch to 8 feet equals. And now if we want the length, we'd have to take the length of the room, 2.5. So we'll put 2.5 inches on the top with the scale, right? The thing that is to scale, or the drawing, in this case, the floor plan, over, and then the actual amount would go on the bottom. So model measurements on the top, actual on the bottom. So then we would cross multiply, right? We would do 8 times 2.5 equals 1 times x, which is amazing because it's just x. And when we multiply, we get 20. 20 equals x, or it is 20 feet long. The second one, find the actual width of the living room. All right, so this one's width, 1 inch to every 8 feet. And I'm going to put the 1.75 inches for the width over x, the actual width. 1.75 times 8 equals the other diagonal, 1 times x, or just x, and 14 equals x, or we can say 14 feet wide. So now we have the actual dimensions of the room. Find the perimeter of the room. All right, so perimeter of a rectangle, we are going to assume this room is a rectangle. That's pretty standard. 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. In this case, 2 times 20 plus 2 times 14. So the perimeter is going to be 40 plus 28, or 68 feet. Now remember, it is one-dimensional. Perimeter is one-dimensional because it's a length. So the perimeter, the actual perimeter, is 68 feet. Find the perimeter of the floor plan. All right, well, back on the floor plan, it was 2 times length plus 2 times width. The length of the floor plan was 2.5 inches, plus 2 times the width of the floor plan was 1.75 inches. That's going to be 5 plus 3.5. The perimeter was 8.5 inches. So the floor plan perimeter is 8.5 inches. All right, so that is the perimeter of the actual compared to the perimeter of the floor plan. The scale factor. What was the scale factor? Scale factor was when we compared the model to the actual, but they had to have the same units. So same units. Little note to ourselves. If it's 8.5 inches to 68 feet, whew, okay, how do I get that in the same units? I'm going to multiply by the fact that there is 1 foot in every 12 inches. Now remember, this is a rule, right? Every 1 foot has 12 inches in it. And why did I pick that? Well, the original over here had inches and feet. And if I put the 12 inches on bottom, the inches cancel. If I put the feet on top, the feet cancel. And when I multiply, I get 8.5 over 816. I can also move my decimal points and say that's the same as 85 over 8,160. Lowest terms on this, you probably wouldn't guess off the top of your head, though. If I divide by 85 and divide by 85, you would get 1 to 96, or 1 to 96. That's your scale factor, because for every 1 unit on the model, there's 96 units on the actual. Find the ratio of the floor plan perimeter to the actual perimeter. So floor plan perimeter. Oh, I did these backwards. That's the floor plan perimeter. Scale factor was 1 inch to 8 feet. If I multiply that by 1 foot over 12 inches, same process. I can cancel out the inches, cancel out the feet, and I get 1 to 96. So the scale factor is 1 to 96. The ratio of the floor plan to the actual is also 1 to 96, which was really my point. I just happened to do them in the wrong order. Scale factor, where you take the scale, get them to the same units, it's a 1 to 96 ratio. The perimeters, when I get them to the same units, a 1 to 96 ratio as well. The scale factor equals the perimeter ratio because they're both one-dimensional. Last but not least, the floor plan of the kitchen has a perimeter of 6 inches. Use the scale factor to find the perimeter of the actual kitchen. All right, so our scale factor was 1 to 96. Highlight that. That was our scale factor. We just found that in the last question. That was our rule. Our scale factor is 1 to 96. So for every 1 unit on the picture, it's worth 96 units in real life. The picture or model being on the top has a perimeter of 6 inches. So what would the perimeter on the bottom be? X. So 6 times 96 equals 1 times X. If I multiply that, 576 equals X. Now here's where we have to be careful. Because these have the same units, the 1 and the 96, these also have to have the same units. So this is 576 inches for the perimeter of the kitchen. If you want to divide that by 12, you can also say 48 feet equals the perimeter of the kitchen. And that's because there's 12 inches in a foot. So I'm sure we're going to have lots to work on together in class.